So my name is Kiana Rich. I'm an admissions associate 2 with the Graduate School. Thank you all for taking the time to join us today. As a reminder, this session is for international students who have already been admitted and are planning to enroll. If you are an applicant, you're welcome to continue to participate in the session, but we do have applicant-specific sessions that we encourage you to register for. I'll drop a link in the chat for our upcoming sessions to some of those. All right. So again, the questions in this will mainly pertain to those preparing to enroll. And we probably won't be answering any questions regarding the application process if you need those answered. So with that addressed, let's get started. So today we have our friends in the Office of International Student and Scholar Services. I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves and then share their presentation. Afterwards, we'll answer any questions that you have, those that were pre-submitted, and then those that you sent using the Q&A feature in our chat. All right, so I'll hand it on over to our friends in International Student and Scholar Services.
Thank you, Kiana. Hi, everyone. My name is Trong Nguyen. I am Associate Director of International Student and Scholar Services. Our office handles all visa and immigration matters for incoming and current international students. And join me today are Rosanna and Katie Grace, our advisors, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Rosanna Yolian. I'm an international student advisor.
And my name is Katie Grace Dockery. I'm also an international student advisor.
Yep, with that, our presentation today will focus a lot more about the immigration and the arrival information for incoming international students. And we going to share our screen. Can everyone see our screen?
Okay, thank you, Trang. So international students frequently ask questions how to obtain your student visa and prepare for life at UA. Okay, next.
Is it not switching for you?
Not switching, no. Let's see. Okay, thank you. So on your screen, you can see some information about our office, our location. We are located at 105 BB Comer Hall. You can see our website on your screen. Our email is international@ua.edu. Please feel free to email us with any immigration-related question. We are usually very responsive and answer any immigration-related question you may have. And you can also see our phone number on your screens. And our office is open from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Okay. You can see our website on your screen. This is a useful website to bookmark. There is plenty of information. Usually any question you have, the likelihood of you finding the answer on our website is very high. So has lots of useful information. Please check out our website just for any immigration related questions and any questions concerning F1 and J1 students. Okay. So once you get admitted to University of Alabama, you will need to get a student visa to enter the US as a student and study at University of Alabama. So what do you need to get visa? you will need Trang. I don't think we have your screen, but let me.
We have a little technical issue here. Apologize for that.
Okay, so getting the student visa. In order for you to get visa, you will need to request an I-20 from us. And I will talk about the process of requesting an I-20 in order to get your visa. So you get admitted, then you request an I-20 from us. We send you your I-20 and then you get visa. So that's the process. What documents do you need to get an I-20 from the University of Alabama? I'll talk about this next. You will need to submit several documents for us to review and issue you your I-20. We will first need you to upload these documents to our secure ISS portal. We will need admission letter. We will need I-20 request form filled out by you, proof of funding, passport. If you are in the US, we would like to also see your current visa documents. It takes us about 5 days to process the I-20. So we say minimum of 5 days. It can be, sometimes it depends on how busy we are. It can be less than 5 business days. Okay, so next we have deadlines for you to request I-20. It takes time for you to get visa, so we would like you to request your I-20 and upload your documents as soon as you can. So there is no need to wait. If you have all your documents ready, we encourage you to submit your documents early rather than later. And you can see the deadlines on the screen. After these dates, we will not be able to process your document. So if you are coming here during summer 2026, May 1st is the deadline because classes start. May 1st is the deadline because classes start at May 26th. Again, don't wait till this deadline and do it as soon as you can. Summer to start, the deadline is June 5th and the classes start July 1st. And most of our students start here fall and the deadline is July 17th. And classes start August 19. So you need to have at least about 1 month to obtain your student visa. That's the minimum time that you will need to get your visa. Depending on the country, there are some countries where the visa wait time can be a few months. So sooner you submit your documents, the more chance you have to obtain your visa in time. Okay, so some of our students come here on J2 visa. However, overwhelming majority of our students will get F1 visa. So for F1 visa, you need an I-20. So most of you will need to submit an I-20 request and obtain F1 visa. J1 visas are typically meant for non-degree exchange programs and for government-sponsored programs. And most of our students don't qualify for J1 visa, but they qualify for F1 visa. So when you are filling out your I-20 request form, you have several options, but most of you will have to pick F1 visa request for F1 visa, meaning an I-20 from us. Okay. So this is how our application, our I-20 request form looks like. The first section, you'll see pretty basic information. We'll need your name, as in your passport, your date of birth, your country of citizenship, country of permanent resident, country of birth, your address. If you are inside the US, we will need your address in the US as well. Just one thing to pay attention to, we use month, day, and year in the US when we write dates of birth or any dates. So just not to create any confusion, please make sure you write your month, the day, and the year. So unless you are already in US, you will not need to provide us US address. Only those of you who are already in the US will need to give us their US address. Okay. If you have a spouse or child and you are planning to bring them with you, you can add their information to our I-20 request form, section 2 of our I-20 request form, asking you to fill out their information if you are planning to bring them here. So we will also need their passports, copies of their passports if you are requesting an F2 visa for your dependents. So section 2, if you have spouse or child, please fill this out. If not, then you just leave this blank. Also, one thing to mention, if you are bringing a dependent with you, which is a spouse of or a child, parents and siblings don't qualify as F2 or J2 dependent, and they cannot be issued F2 I-20 or J2 DS 2019, but we will issue F2 I-20 for spouses and children if you provide a proof of funding for them for $5,000. So for spouse and children, 5,000 additional proof of funding need to be provided for us to make their I-20s. Okay. Next. As I mentioned, for dependents, you need to provide 5,000 proof of funding per each dependent. And you also need to provide a proof of funding for yourself. So on your screens, you can see a table with the cost breakdown. You can see how much it will cost you to be a student at University of Alabama. This is an estimated expenses for 2025-2026. You can see the tuition, international fee, course, college fees, health insurance, book supply. A big one is a housing, meals, as this is an estimate. But once we add all these numbers up, we estimate that you will need $56,166 for your 1 year of your studies at University of Alabama. So this is the required proof of funding that we need to see before we issue you an I-20. Okay, so what is proof of funding? When I say proof of funding, what do I mean? What will qualify as proof of funding is any university funds, if you have a scholarship, graduate assistantship, graduate fellowship. I guess most of our students, well, I shouldn't say that. So university funds, we need to see a proof. Very often our students think that if they got an assistantship, that we somehow know about this. That's not necessarily true. We don't know which student got an assistantship, who is on fellowship, and who is not on university funding. So please, when you apply for I-20, upload your assistantship letter, your scholarship letter, whatever you have, because we don't have this information. Second option is personal funds. So you can provide the bank statement in your name. It can be the bank statement or a letter from your bank confirming that you have certain amount of funds on your account. This can't be older than 6 months. So we just need you to provide a current balance, and it cannot be older than 6 months. Another option is family sponsor funds. If you have parents or family members who will be sponsoring your education here, that's also acceptable. So for those students, we will need you to fill out section 3 of your I-20 request form. You all have to fill out this section 3. However, if you have a family sponsor funds, you will need your sponsor's name, sponsor's address, and they need to sign this. It is important that your sponsor signs this section of I-20 request form, and you will also need to submit a proof of the funds that they have. We don't take any affidavits. We just need a proof of funds, like a bank letter will be a proof of funds. It has to be in their name, and they have to sign section 3 sponsors, where there is a sponsor signature required. Another option is any grants, scholarships that you may get from somewhere else, any other awards. So we have also a section here where you can put this information on section 3 of your evidence of available funding. And we need to have proof. You need to get a proof, and you need to fill out this part of your I-20 request form, and they have to match. So if you choose personal funds as your evidence of available funding, then the bank letter has to be in your name. If you choose family sponsor funds, you need to provide a bank letter in their name. If University of Alabama is source of your funding, then we will need a proof of that. You need to provide assistantship letter or a scholarship letter or whatever letter you have from University of Alabama. Okay. So we will have some students who are already in the US and they are transferring to us from some other schools. For those of you, you will need to fill out section 4 of our I-20 request form. Section 4, if you are planning to do a CVIS transfer, if you have an active CVIS ID, meaning you are in a different school and want to transfer your CVIS record to us, you will need to also fill out section 4 of transfer info, and you will also need your current DSO or ARO. You provide them a copy of your admission letter from University of Alabama, and they will transfer your CVIS record to us. If you are one of the students, please fill out section 4. Okay. So once you submit your documents and get your I-20 from us, this is how your I-20 will look like. Please make sure you check to make sure that your name is correct on an I-20. Your name will appear on your I-20 the way it appears in your passport. It will have a CVIS ID number. This is very important. It will have a program of study listed there, UA school code, and the report date, session start date, and anticipated end date. So this end date may change depending how quickly you progress in your studies. So these are few things to pay attention to once you get your I-20. Okay. This is DS 2019. This is for J1 students. As I said, this is rare. Most of you will come here on I-20 and on F1 visa, but this is a sample of DS 2019. And this has a similar information, your CVS ID number, your start date, your name. And just once you get it, make sure everything is correct, just to double check. Okay. Okay, once you get your I-20 or DS 2019, next is to pay a CVS fee. I think Trunk will take it from here.
Thank you, Rosanna. So once you submit all of the documents to our office and you got your I-20 or DS 2019 in your hand, the next step will be to pay the CVS fee. That is the fee for the government to maintain the electronic system to generate your I-20 on your ODS 2019. And to do that, you will go to this website, fmjfee.com is on the screen. Currently, the fees for F1 student is $350. And make sure that you have the right F1 school code for UA. It is in the highlighted area ATL 214 F10074 and 000. This school code is on your I-20, but we also send it out to you when we send you the I-20. For J1 students, the fee is $220. And again, please make sure that you put in the correct CVS number that you find on your I-20 and put in the correct school code as well. Okay, so you've got your I-20, you paid the CVS fee. The next step is to schedule a visa interview by submitting a visa application or Form DS-160. And effective October 1st, 2025, Department of State imposed a $250 visa integrity fee. So that is something new since October of last year. The Department of State has multiple resources for you to ask questions or to guide you to fill out the Form DS-160. If you have a dependent on F2 or J2, each of the dependent will also need to fill out the Form DS-160. Unless you are from Canada, you're a citizen of Canada or Bahama, all of you will need a visa. Citizens of these two countries do not need a visa in the passport to enter the United States. However, they do need a valid I-20 or DS 2019. Okay. So visa interview scheduling. After you've submitted the form DS-160, you should set a visa appointment with the jurisdiction over your place of permanent residence. Before setting the visa interview, you can check, like if you're from a countries with multiple US consulates or embassies, you can check to see the visa appointment wait times at each consulate to see which one has the shortest wait time. You know, if you find that they're one a little bit further away, but, you know, you only have to wait a week for a visa versus, you know, like the one closer to you, it's like a 3 months wait. Depending on when you got your DS 2019 or your I-20, it's probably worth, you know, travel a little bit further to a consulate that can schedule you an interview faster. All right. So in this slide, you'll find a list of documents that required for the visa interview. You have to have your passport valid for at least 6 months beyond your period of stay in the US. unless you're exempt by the country-specific agreements. Your DS-160 visa application, the receipt to show that you paid the visa application fee, and the your photos. Currently, I think they have all electronic upload for your photos, but just in case if your photos don't upload properly or they reject your photos, bring your physical photos with you would be a good idea to prevent further delay in your visa processing. You need to bring your I-20 or DS-2019, your CVIS fee payment receipt, and of course, your admission and proof of funding. There might be other additional documents that you should bring with you. Each consular officer may request different documents, such as your academic documents, like your transcripts, your diplomas, your test scores, that kind of things. Any documents to show that you intend to depart the US once you've completed your degree. And documents to show how you will pay your educational, living, and travel expenses. It's best that you contact the US Embassy or consulate to see if there's any other documents that's specific to your country when you need to apply for your F1 visa. A few reminders here for your interview prep. You need to show your ties to your home country and residence abroad. So the F1 and the J1 are non-immigrant visa. So it's very important that you have to show that you do not have an intent to immigrate to the US. Your goal of applying for the F1 or J1 visa is to study, while your intention has to be to study. It can't be anything else. Now, later on, once you complete your degree and you want to gain experience, that could be the benefits that you get at the end of your program or during your program, but it cannot be your intention when you're applying for an F1 or J1 visa. So any documents that ties you to your home country and residence abroad would help with the visa application. If you have property that you own in your home country, if you have family members in your home country, or you have a job waiting for you once you're done studying, anything to show the ties would be helpful for your visa application. Since you are coming to the US to study, and you must use English, so the visa interviews will be conducted in English. Make sure that you speak for yourself. So the visa officer wants to hear your story, want to find out more about you. So you're there to present yourself, not telling the story of your friend or your family members. So you want to be precise, honest, and truthful. You know your program and how it fits your career plans. It's not going to be a good idea if they ask you what you're going to study and you don't know what program that you've been admitted in, or what you're going to do with that degree, right? Because your whole purpose of going to the US now is to study, to get a degree, and to help with your career or your plan in the future. So not knowing those basic information would be detrimental to your visa application. And again, keep the positive attitude, be truthful, be honest. Make sure that you bring all of the documents, even the supporting documentation. I usually recommend that you want to bring more than you need. And if you only need a subset of those documents, that's fine. But if you are asked to provide more documentation and you don't have it with you, it's gonna be, not good for your visa, and it could delay the visa processing even further. Employment. So again, it goes back to you are going or intend to come to the US to study, not to be employed or not to work. So in the line of questioning, you should not be mentioning that, okay, well, I go to the US to work. That's not the intention of this visa at all. So again, as I said, it can be an incidental to your study. You may find an internship that you gain experience, but that should not be the primary goal in coming to the US and study at UA. If you have dependents remaining at home, probably have an explanation of how you're going to support them, especially if you are the breadwinner of the family, if you are the main source of income of the family, and now you are coming to the US to study. If you don't have a financial plan to support your dependents back at home, the visa officer can have the assumption that, well, you may come to the US and work illegally to support your family members back home. And that would not be a good impression on your visa application. And we don't want that. So do prepare for the line of questions if you have dependents that remains at home in your home country while you're studying in the US. And other special consideration is like, again, be honest, be truthful, and be positive. All right. So after the interviews, there a possibility that your visa got picked in a clearance process. It's called administrative processing. Now, you will be, if you are picked in AP, you may be requested to provide more information to receive clearance and be issued a visa. Well, unfortunately, if you are selected for AP, there's nothing that our office or any other office can do to expedite the processing. So again, we want to stress that you want to get your immigration documents early and in order so that you have enough time to get your visa to arrive in the US in the event that you are you have to go through administrative processing. If the visa issuance delay extends beyond your first week of classes, your only option will be to defer the admission to the following semester and update your I-20 or DS 2019 accordingly. So by the first week of classes, if you're still waiting for your visa interview, there's no way you're coming for that term. And you need to work with graduate school to defer your admission. So there are 3 separate deferrals that you need to work on. The admission is one, and you will work with grad school for that. If you receive any funding, any assistantship, any scholarship, any fellowship from grad school or from the hiring department, you all also need to work with them to defer your scholarships or fellowships or assistantship. And then you have to work with our office to defer your I-20. So when we say defer, there are 3 separate processes to defer different things. You need to defer your admission, you need to defer your funding, and you need to defer your immigration documents. And different offices handle different processes. So let's say if you already take action to defer your admission, it doesn't mean that your scholarship or assistantship will automatically be deferred or granted. And also, your I-20 will not be automatically deferred unless you request a deferral from our office. All right, visa validity. So if everything goes well, you got approved for your visa, and you will get the visa stamp in your passport. And the visa may be issued for a single entry, which is an S denote, or it can be a multi-entry visa, an M. In the example on the right-hand side here, the entries, it's M. That means it's a multiple entry visa. So as long as the visa is still valid, the visa holder can come to the US multiple times while the visa is still valid. And it may be not issued for the full length of your program. So depending on your country, you may get your visa for a year, for 3 years, or 5 years. And if you come for a 5-year program, and your visa is only valid for 1 year, is not a problem. You only need your visa to be valid when you enter the US from abroad. All right. So when can you enter the US? You can enter the US up to 30 days prior to the report date listed on your I-20 or DS 2019. So generally speaking, you can come about a month earlier than the program start date printed on your I-20 or DS 2019. And these days is also printed on the I-20 or DS 2019, so that you can prepare for your arrival. You need to make arrangement for your flight, for a temporary stay at a hotel or something like that. Take that information and prepare for your arrival. All right, getting to Tuscaloosa. For airport, we recommend students fly to Birmingham Shuttle Airport. The airport code is BHM. It is the closest major airport to Tuscaloosa. Some of our students also choose to fly to Atlanta or some other international airport. However, keep in mind that Atlanta is about 4 hours of driving from us. So a lot of time the students find that, they save some money by flying to Atlanta. But in the end, they will then have to pay for the transportation from Atlanta to Tuscaloosa, which probably even costs more than the cost of the ticket. It really depends on your level of comfort of how to navigate the transportation system. For us, we still recommend Birmingham. It's just because it's like the closest major airport. Shuttle, Tuscaloosa can be reached from Birmingham Airport through a shuttle. There are several services, and we have it on our website about different services that provide shuttle service from Birmingham to Tuscaloosa. Off-campus housing. So if you need to sign a lease, most apartments require a long-term lease of at least 1 year. If you sign it's for like a shorter term, usually the monthly rent will be higher. It is very common for most landlords to require you to pay a deposit, which is equals to 1 month's rent when you sign a lease for an apartment or a house, as well as the first and last month of rent upon move-in. So be prepared that there will be some upfront expenses once you arrive in Tuscaloosa to start your program at UA. Be sure to read through the terms of all of your lease carefully before signing. Signing a lease here in the US is legal binding. So basically you're promising to pay the landlord for the entire time listed on the lease. So if you sign a 1-year lease, you can't really break off the contract and saying I'm only stay for 2 months or 3 months. So ending a lease is a violation of the lease agreement, and it can cost you the rental deposit and even, fines and penalties. You can go online to the off housing resources. We have some connections with, some links that connected to off-campus housing here in Tuscaloosa. All right, and again, this is our office information. We handle visa and immigration issues. So if you need to ask us about like the visa questions or your I-20 or DS 2019 or anything immigration related, please reach out to our office. We here in BB Commerce, and our email is international@ua.edu from 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. All right, and that will conclude our presentation today. And I will leave some time for our Q&A.
All right. So if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and start asking them with the Q&A feature. While you all are doing that, we did receive some pre-submitted questions. I can go ahead and start fielding some of those while if any of you have to try to answer some in the Q&A. Let's see. We did receive quite a few questions regarding assistantships and scholarships and fellowships. Regarding those, I can drop some links in the chat regarding links to like scholarships that you can apply for, as well as kind of more information regarding the fellowship process. Now, for a fellowship, you do have to be nominated by your department. And the deadline, I believe, for that was February 12th of 2026. So if you haven't heard anything regarding a fellowship since then, it's likely that since the deadline's passed, you weren't nominated for one, but you can still apply for assistantships. It does vary based on your department. So the best thing we typically tell students to do is to contact your department directly, because some programs require you to fill out a form in order to apply for an assistantship. Some programs consider you automatically upon admission. They kind of just put your name in with like all of the other admitted students, and then they go from there, and then they'll contact you if they plan to offer you an assistantship. So the best thing to do regarding assistantship is to contact your department to make sure you know what their specific assistantship awarding process is. And to do that, you would need to reach out to your program director. I can also drop a link in the chat to a list of all of our programs and the directors, along with their contact information. Are there, I don't see any questions coming in through the Q&A. There's one.
All right, so we can probably have the questions from the list. One of the questions, pre-submitted question is that, is there a representative from the school that picks up students from the airport? Regarding that, we do have 1 week that we have shuttle that runs from Birmingham to Tuscaloosa, and it will be from 4 to 5:30. the week of August 10th to August 14th. So keep this in mind if you would like to take advantage of the free shuttle service. The spot is limited, so you will also need to reserve a spot in advance, and your flights has to work with the dates that we provide the service. Again, it's August 10th to August 14th. We will have the shuttle there waiting for you from 4 to 5:30.
So Hans is asking in the Q&A, how do we know which countries are not eligible for a student visa versus an immigrant visa? So there have been separate bans, some affecting the F and J visas and some only affecting immigrant visas, which is a visa you apply for that allows you to apply for the green card as soon as you enter the US. So immigrant visas will not be what I'm guessing any of you will be applying for or will be needing to come study at UA. So I dropped a link in the chat here to our immigration updates page where we have a section on the bans. And if you scroll down a little bit, there's a helpful chart that kind of explains which countries are subject to which ban.
Thank you, anyways. And that's, do you have more questions, or I'll read the questions that was pre-submitted. I would like to ask about the DS-160 social media section. If a family member used my phone or device to access their own social media account, but I did not personally use that account, do I need to include it in my DS-160? I think you do. If the account is on your device, well, I think it's really depends on what that account is. Is it like for your family member? Does it have your name and your pictures on it? If so, then yes, you probably will need to declare it on the visa application. But if it's just like an occasional use of your family members, it is probably be safe to not include that. One of the question was that can the grad school administrative team help with my visa application? So our office, the international office, is the one that will answer your visa and immigration related question. Grad school will help you with the admission process. If you need to defer your admissions, if you need to change your program, those are the questions that you need to reach out to UA grad school. But visa and immigration related is our office, the International Student and Scholar Services.
I see one question that we haven't covered during our presentation. It's a PhD student at another university who the CVIS record was terminated due to an authorized leave of absence. So if you departed the US and a person is asking whether he needs a new visa to re-enter the US, So you will need a new Civis ID, need to get a new I-20 from us, pay a Civis fee again. You can potentially use your current visa to enter the US, but just make sure you reach out, you contact your consulate just to make sure your visa is still valid. But yes, you should be able to use your previous visa if it's still valid. Just make sure that it is valid.
Yeah. Because if there's any revocation that was done by CBP, it would not be printed on your visa that say this visa is revoked, or is no longer valid. They can do it electronically, without stamping anything on the visa. So, to Rosanna's point, do reach out to US consulate to make sure that your visa is still valid.
I think most of the questions we already covered during our presentation that we have here.
I've got one, someone asked how they could get their Crimson email address. So in order to get that established, you need to first create your MyBama account. And then once you've logged into your MyBama account, on the quick links section, there will be an email tab, and you should be able to access your UA Crimson email through there. And if you have any issues with that, I recommend contacting our Office of Information Technology, as they would be the best ones to assist you with establishing that email and correcting any issues with that email address. I can drop a link in the chat for their contact email as well as their contact phone number. Regarding all of the funding questions, again, you would need to contact your department to kind of see how much funding they have available, how much funding if you have questions about how much funding they've previously had available in past years. I see one question asking about typically receiving full funding. That's something that the department would know. So I highly recommend contacting them to kind of get an idea of how much funding is uh, possible to be received, as well as how much funding they have available for the current year.
Any other questions that we haven't addressed?
Uh, Beverlyn, if you haven't heard yet about your GA scholarship application, I would just contact your department. There's, as that's usually typically handled with them. Okay, so we've got one question. How does we access the official admission letter? I think so far what we have is the acceptance letter. They should be the same thing. If you log into your application status portal, uh, that link where it kind of says review your admission decision, that's the decision letter. That's the letter that you're going to need. You can just print it out or save it as a PDF. But I believe that's what you're referring to when you're asking that question. If not, you're welcome to email us at gradschool@ua.edu, and we can try to answer this question a little better and dive a little more deeply into it. Okay, Hansel says, when I download my acceptance letters, it requires an access code to open it. Why is that and what code can I use to open it? For that, I'd recommend contacting us at graduate school. As far as I'm aware, it shouldn't require a code, but I would just recommend sending us a screenshot to gradschool@ua.edu so we can figure out what's going on. I'm a newly admitted for fall 2026. I've tried several times to reach out to my department, but never got a response. I do apologize that you haven't gotten a response from the department, but if you are asking them questions regarding funding, that is something that they do have to provide you information with. Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to assist in that. But if you continue having issues, just reach out to us in the graduate school office, and then we can see if there's a way that we can maybe help you get in contact with the department. We're gonna give it about a few minutes for any further questions. Let's see. Okay, hey Hansel, I think Katie Grace is answering that question. She's gonna type it to you rather than answering it live.
Yeah, sorry, I got so in the zone with typing, I forgot that I could answer them live. Yeah, basically, if you're issued a single entry visa, you'll only be able to use that visa once. So if you need to travel internationally again, you'll have to reapply. We do have guidance on our website about applying for a visa renewal. Um, but you'll have to navigate delays and perhaps planning that ahead of time, communicating with your professors if you'll be missing a significant amount of classes, and obviously keeping our office updated about that. So if that were to happen, we would work with you on that.
Yes, so regarding deferrals, Trong already did a pretty good job of explaining that you have to do it in about 3 stages. So you need to contact us at the graduate school, grad school at ua.edu, and we can walk you through that. We can tell you how to do that deferral process on our end. You need to reach out to your department to make sure that any funding that you have received can also be deferred over. And then you would need to reach out to International Student and Scholar Services about that deferral. I will say regarding the deferral, please be aware that on our end and the graduate school side, if you defer, it is not guarantee of readmission. Deferring just means that your application is going to be, the year is going to be changed on it, and we're just going to take the information from your previously approved application, put it on a new one, and it's going to have to go through the entire admissions process again. Okay. Do we have any other questions before we end our session?
I think that's all of the questions.
Well, thank you everybody for attending today. If you have any follow-up questions once the session ends, you're welcome to contact either us at the graduate school or the International Student and Scholar Services Office, depending on what your question is. If it's relating to anything regarding like post-admission processes, such as needing information to contact your department, things of that nature, you can contact us at grad school at ua.edu. If it has anything to do with immigration or visa, please contact International Student Services. I believe their email is already in the chat. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I put our email here. It's international at ua.
All right, there it is. And if you need any sort of like refreshers on this, this session was recorded, and it should go up on our grad school YouTube page if you want to just rewatch the session again or hear any of the questions again. All right, with that, I think we'll end it. Again, thank you everybody for coming. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kiana.